Zach, we have some breaking news out of New Mexico. A judge has dismissed Alec Baldwin's involuntary manslaughter trial after a motion from the actor's defense team. Baldwin faced charges for the 2021 accidental shooting death of cinematographer Helena Hutchins while on set of his film Rust. The film's armorer, Hannah Gutierrez-Reed, was sentenced to 18 months in prison earlier this year on similar charges. Tre Lovell joins us now. He's an entertainment attorney. Tre, talk to us about what happened in this case.
Wow, this is a bombshell. Pretty much the court just did the absolute worst thing that could happen in this case, and they dismissed it with prejudice, which means you can't bring it again. And what happened is the court found that the conduct of the prosecution fundamentally impacted the fairness of the case. And that's a really deep statement. And so, I don't know if I've ever seen a situation like this where the court has actually dismissed the case based on something like this, but it's a shock. And the judge just clearly was irate and clearly was not going to have it. And I think the prosecution kind of had a theme of not providing discovery, playing some games. This kept being brought up in pretrial motions and some earlier activity. And I think it just collectively, hit the judge's ire and she dismissed it.
Yeah, she said, quote, "The late discovery of this evidence during trial has impeded the effective use of evidence in such a way that it has impacted the fundamental fairness of the proceedings." Explain for our viewers a little bit more about what happened in terms of ammunition being categorized under a different case number and how all of this might impact Hannah Gutierrez-Reed's case as she tries to move forward with her appeal.
Sure. So a witness comes forward who's a former detective, and he provides to the prosecution, to the detectives, some bullets that he said he got from Seth Kenney, and that were the same type that were used on the Rust case, on the Rust set. Now, as soon as you get that, a detective normally would say, "Oh my God, this goes to one of the pivotal questions in terms of how did the ammunition get on set?" It would lead to an investigation. They would take that in as evidence, first of all, and file it in the Rust case. Then they would start to do an investigation to just talk to some witnesses, and try to get to the bottom of exactly what this witness was talking about. Rather than doing that, they take in the evidence. They do no further investigation. They file it in a separate file, not part of the Rust case, and nobody says anything, and they don't tender it to the defense, which it is a breach of the number one obligation that a prosecution has, is to provide all evidence to the defense. And so when they did that, and then when this defense brought a motion to dismiss based on that, rather than just having a hearing, the judge dismissed the jury and wanted to hear testimony and really got into this because it really spiked some ears that she was going to take this very seriously. And then when she started to hear the testimony, and I believe after Morrissey, who was the prosecutor, even she got on the stand to testify, which is very, very unusual. She found that it was just reprehensible and dismissed the case. Yeah, it's a shock.
How unusual for one of the prosecutors to call herself as a witness to the stand and testify, and for her co-counsel then to also resign in this very dramatic case. But let's not leave that question unanswered. What are the potential implications for Hannah Gutierrez-Reed?
Okay, so there could be some big implications because Gutierrez-Reed was tried by the same prosecutors, which is largely the same evidence. And if they withheld that evidence from Gutierrez-Reed's counsel and her defense, there's a big question whether that would have made a difference in the trial. Now, in this case, one of the issues was the evidence of the live ammo that was brought to the detectives is a question whether how much it really would have impacted Baldwin's defense, because nobody disputes that Baldwin did not bring the live ammo on the set, nor did he load the gun with it. The issues with him are his conduct at the time of the incident, whether he was criminally negligent in the way he handled the gun. So one of the arguments is that, hey, even though they didn't provide this evidence, it really wouldn't have impacted his case as much. But that's not the same with Gutierrez. This was a source of the ammo, which could have explained how it ultimately got to her. And once you have a piece of evidence like this, you don't know what it's going to lead to. All of a sudden, you start questioning, the witness that brought it in. He gives you some more names. You start questioning those people. You start getting invoices. You start seeing paper trails, maybe with the rust set. You don't know where this is going to lead. But all that was prevented when the prosecution failed to tender it over.
All right, Tre Lovell, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.